Hey guys, Michelle Martin with Ag on Wheels, and today we find ourselves in Palacios, Texas with the Oyster Bros.
I'm Jacob.
I'm David.
And they're going to teach us all about oyster farming. So let's get started. So oyster farming is not something that a lot of people are probably familiar with in Texas.
No.
How did you get started? Because this is a family-run thing, right?
Yeah, so actually our roots started with shrimping. Our grandfather and his cousins and brothers built the business up, and then our dad and his brothers and kind of took the next step and took shrimping to where it's at today. So we grew up around here at the docks, and you know, growing up I went out on boats and you know, learned everything there is to know about shrimping. When we were introduced to all the people around here that were starting the hatcheries, that's when we got introduced to oyster farming.
Your dad, I'm assuming, was a shrimper, you said?
Yes.
And you grew up on that boat. Was it something you knew that you just had the luck for and you were going to continue on?
I knew as a younger kid that I wanted to do something in the shrimping industry. And when things kind of got tougher, and he really encouraged us to get into the oyster farming. He said this was new and exciting, so, and I agree.
And do you hope that your kids and your nieces and nephews and your family kind of follow in those footsteps that you're laying the groundwork for?
Absolutely. I hope that they grow up and everything's, you know, a good and sustainable business where they can produce food here in America and you know, be proud of what they do.
Well, I think it's time for you to go shuck some oysters, because now I'm going to go talk to your brother and figure out how it's done.
Y'all have fun.
All right, now that I sent your brother to go do my job that I was supposed to do, y'all were going to make me shuck all those oysters, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but before we can shuck an oyster, we have to know how these oysters get here. So you're going to show me that?
Yes, ma'am. So first we're going to go to the hatchery and show you how oysters are bred.
Okay.
To get them to where we get them as juveniles, where they're going through a tumbler to final production to out the door.
There's going to be a lot of steps, aren't there?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
Are you going to let me drive the boat later?
I will. Ain't no problem.
We might not make it back, but here we go. Let's go. Where we're standing is a very crucial step in the oyster world. And I'm with Jim Mine. And Jim, tell me, why is this so important and where are we?
Well, we are standing inside the largest oyster hatchery in Texas. We are Palacios Marine Agricultural Research, and our mission is to restore oysters in all of our Texas bays. And to do that, you need baby oysters. And so we built this building and all of these facilities with the goal of producing upwards of 300 million oysters a year.
So without you, there'd be no oyster farming, right?
That's exactly right. We are the only in-state oyster hatchery that provides seed for the Texas farmers.
All right, Jim, so let's start with step number one. What is that?
Well, you got to get moms and dads. And so we collect of over 1,000 parents and hold them in this facility and give them very special spa-like treatment, food, their favorite temperature water to build up the gonad material they need to produce eggs and sperm. We'll fertilize them, and then we'll put them in our very large static tanks that can house 500 million fertilized eggs per tank.
Wow.
So at any given time, we could put 2 billion fertilized eggs into our operations. You need it to be that much because the odds of making it to a baby seed are about 1%.
So then what happens after that with the ones that do make it?
So the ones that make it, we are going to turn them into seed. And an oyster is a bit like a butterfly. It goes through a metamorphosis.
Okay.
It actually changes its body shape, sticks out a foot, starts to crawl and look for some hard place to attach. We actually crush up old oyster shell and we make the shell just about the same size as this little metamorphic oyster larvae. That allows the farmers to produce these perfectly uniform, beautiful oysters for the half shell market. And then they start eating a lot, almost too much food. We have to kick them out. kind of like when your kids are starting to like overwhelm the refrigerator, and we take them over to our nursery, which is a raw water system. So now they're feeding directly on whatever food is in the water, but they're healthy enough to make that transition. From there, they'll go out to David and Jacob's farm.
We put it into human terms, like once you have your baby, it's monitored, everything is great, and then you leave the hospital. So it's kind of like that, but
Right.
without the hospital, right?
Without the hospital.
Okay. All right, Jacob. So we've seen what happens at the very start. Tell me where we are. What is all this?
So we are in Palacios, Texas. We're in the Matagorda Bay system. Where you see that buoy at down at the end, there's an anchor down there, and there's an anchor right behind us, and there's a line, which we call our main line, and then we got bridles coming up, which each one of these cages is tied off to a bridle. So that holds the cage in position where it's not floating around. And these are 6-bag grow-out cages, and we got about 1,200 oysters per cage. We're in the final stages of getting it to market size right now.
So right now we're in the process of going from summer to fall. How does that water temperature play into y'all's operation?
It has a lot to do with it. You know, summertime, it's really, really hot. There's lots of food in the water, but as the water gets colder, things will start slowing down. So in the summertime, when we plant the seeds, you'll start off with, less than a quarter of a bag. And by the time you go back and grab them bags, it's literally like popcorn in a bag. It's full. So now it's just a splitting game, just keeping your densities light, keeping them to where they're able to eat equally. You know, that comes to sorting, just like any other pig farm or feedlot. I mean, you want everything to be eaten equally. That way you got great yields on all your product.
You obviously don't do this all alone because y'all are year round, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You never stop.
No, ma'am.
And you have a great team behind you to support you, one being your brother.
I'll hand it over to D. He'll show you our best product that we got.
I'm gonna find the pearl because it's gonna be like winning the lottery,
Yes, ma'am, it will be.
but I'm not gonna share.
What is it? One in every 10,000 oysters, you'll find a pearl in these farmed oysters.
All right, today's my lucky day. All right, David, how long does it take for them to be ready to go harvest?
So depending on the oyster itself, from the size of quinoa to about a 2.5-inch full of meat yield oyster, about 6 to 9 months. So the oysters I'm gonna show you now are 2.5 months old. What we like to do is monitor their growth, make sure that their cup is growing in the right direction.
Okay.
And right now, I split these about a month ago. When we put them in here, they were all the same size. Some are starting to take off and some are kind of lacking. So like these guys are definitely on the bigger end.
Yeah.
And you know, I would say they're market size, but they're not market ready. So that's a beautiful oyster. He's got a black line around the gill. That's a very good indicator that he's healthy. You know, he's filling out the shell nice and beautifully. He needs to get more weight. He needs to get fatter. And as the season changes, there'll definitely be plenty of food in the water to allow him to do that.
And one thing that I've seen throughout spending the day with you guys is that you truly do care about these oysters. And it's more than just oyster farming. To you guys, it's really a passion, but it's also an art.
I would say like every farmer's gonna have their own method to their madness on what they do to help them become successful at farming. And so it's a lot of trial and error. You know, some things that we tried before didn't work. You know, some things work very well. So I have a book that I'm writing about things not to do oyster farming. I don't think I'll ever finish it, but the things that I did right, I could probably put it on one little sheet.
So with everything I've learned, I want to see if I can pick out a good one.
Okay,
Let's see. Yeah, that one looks like a good one. What about this one? Because it has the, oh look, he's back.
Yeah, this one's cup's coming in deep. I'd say now you're an oyster farmer.
Seems to me that y'all are very meticulous in everything that you do. And so y'all are providing Texas and the United States with some of the best oysters.
Yes,
coming
ma'am.
from Matagorda Bay.
Matagorda Bay, Matagorda pearls.
There you go. Just like the hat says. All right, so as we know, every farming operation, or really anything in agriculture, isn't just done with one person, it's done with a team. And this man right here, Dr. Mario Marquez, plays a really big role in the Oyster Bros.
I am the aquaculture program manager for Texas Sea Grant, And my main role is to help this new industry that came out in 2020. We're only 4 years in. We already have 14 farms permitted, over 100 acres, and we've got a lot more to go. So what I do is I basically hold the farmer's hand through the permitting process, through teaching them how to do everything till they don't need me to hold their hand anymore.
Can you hold my hand when I farm?
Sure.
How about when I film? Because I need help too.
Yeah. So I started with, for example, Oyster Bros, helped them. They went to an intensive workshop and they just fell in love with it, and they drank the Kool-Aid that I brewed, and they're booming, they're successful.
Tell me that fun fact. When we were talking about sustainability, oyster farming is actually really sustainable.
It is. So the fun fact about oyster farming, it is actually one of the few sustainable agricultural practices in the industry. Oysters are known as an ecosystem service. One healthy adult oyster can filter 50 gallons of water a day. So a farm that has about 200,000 oysters can filter about 15 Olympic-sized swimming pools a day. So, for example, their farm that they have over 4 million oysters, that is just improving the water quality of the bay system, reducing contaminants. It's also creating a huge fishery for the area where there were not fish before. Now on these floating reefs, which is basically what they are, it's actually a fisherman's little paradise when they just go and fish around their farm.
What is it about oyster farming that you feel is so unique when it comes to agriculture?
The Texas coast, it's vast. It's over 400 miles of coastline, going all the way from Galveston all the way to South Padre. And the oysters, they'll take on the flavor of that bay. So imagine going to a restaurant and you get 2 oysters from Galveston, Matagorda, San Antonio Bay, Corpus, the lower Laguna, the upper Laguna. So essentially that person is experiencing the Texas coast at their table.
There you go. Texas oysters, the way to go.
Yeah.
Now it's for the fun part. Lightning and thunder. You're gonna show me how to open them, right?
Yes, ma'am. So I come in from the hinge and I just kind of wiggle it like a key.
Okay.
Once I got it popped, I come open, scrape your top, kind of hold it shut at the same time. It don't make no sense, but it makes for it pretty shut. So this is what you want to see. Your whole oyster fill up the shell. That's a perfect meat to shell ratio right here. Once you shuck it, you cut your top abductor hinge off, come in underneath, and you'll cut your bottom abductor and kind of just loosen everything up from there.
Oh.
Make sure there ain't no shell fragment in there. This oyster's ready to eat.
Look at that. Are you gonna eat it? There you go.
Trying one just naked, just bare. That way you kind of get the full taste of the oyster, and then try one with the hogwash.
No, I'm gonna do the hogwash.
Hogwash.
I'm not a seafood person, but I love to fish. Okay, so I just let it go down.
Let it go.
Hey, that's good. That's really good. I'm just surprised. That's really good.
So you an oyster eater now, Michelle?
I think only the Oyster Bros, but yes, I am.
Awesome.
Cheers. Well, that was a great time with the Oyster Bros. Where will I be next? Only God knows. I've got to go eat some oysters from the Oyster Bros. Bye, guys.